All right, let's just forget everything you think you know about travel guides for a minute. We're about to jump into the heart of Switzerland, but we're going to see it through the eyes of someone experiencing it for the very first time. Her name is Arohi. And trust me, this is way more than just a trip. It's a story about wonder, about romance, and, well, all the little things you just can't plan for. So let's get into it. So our story kicks off right here in the dark. Just picture it. You're on a bus, it's been rumbling all night from Paris. The air's a bit stale, you're half asleep, and you have that one single thought. Are we there yet? That's exactly where Arohi is, just swimming in that feeling of anticipation, waiting for her very first look at Switzerland. And right off the bat, you get a sense of what's at stake here. This is not some casual, breezy vacation. No, this entire journey is built on borrowed money and borrowed courage. For Arohi, a girl from Meerut in India, just seeing the Alps isn't just about sightseeing, it's the peak of a dream that, for the longest time, felt totally and completely out of reach. And then the moment arrives. The bus door just hisses open, and this wave of cold Swiss air rushes in. It's sharp, it's clean, it's real. And in that early morning light, she finally sees them. The mountains. The whole range, just silent and massive. You know, it's not a picture on a screen anymore. It's the raw, unfiltered majesty of the Alps. A moment so big it hardly even feels real. So, from that first, absolutely breathtaking moment, the real journey begins. The goal? Jungfrau, literally the top of Europe. But as you're about to see, just getting up there is an adventure all on its own. The ride up is, well, it's kind of magical. These Swiss trains, they are punctual like you wouldn't believe, and they just glide up these ridiculously steep slopes with these whisper-quiet motors. And out the window, the whole world just transforms, from these lush green valleys to this perfect, pristine blanket of white snow. Even the air changes, you know? It gets thinner, a little sweeter as you climb higher and higher into the sky. But at the very top, in the middle of all this pure white silence, she gets a huge dose of culture shock. I mean, Arohi is bundled up from head to toe against this biting cold, and then she sees it. Another tourist, posing for a photo in just a bikini top. It is just a jarring, totally unexpected display of European boldness that is a world away from her own background. Inside the mountain station, it's like a whole different universe. You've got the shimmering, frozen magic of the ice palace. Then there are these shops just filled with impossibly precise Swiss watches. Beautiful, but way too expensive. But the one treasure they can't afford? Chocolate. A small, simple, wrapped-up promise of pure Swiss sweetness. And this moment, right here, it gets to the real heart of the journey. Her husband's hand squeezes hers. And in that silence, they both get it. This little piece of chocolate, it's so much more than just a snack. It's real, tangible proof that their big gamble, all that borrowed money, had actually turned into this real melt-in-your-mouth memory. You know, even the trip back down is filled with these wonderfully human little moments. A station worker named Lena stamps their Jungfrau passport with this big, warm smile, and later, the train conductor, after checking their tickets, hands each of them a small piece of chocolate. It's these small, kind gestures that really make a trip unforgettable. Okay, so if Jungfrau was all about the awe of nature, the next stop, Interlaken, is pure movie magic. I mean, for millions of people back in India, Switzerland is the romantic backdrop for all these legendary Bollywood films. And for one stolen hour, Arohi and her husband actually get to step right inside that dream. So they're wandering through a park, and then they find it. A bronze statue of the legendary director Yash Chopra. Now, for an Indian tourist, this is a huge deal. It's an iconic landmark, and it instantly transforms the whole scene from just beautiful Swiss scenery into a real-life Bollywood movie set. It just sparks this huge wave of nostalgia. So, standing there surrounded by these unbelievably cinematic peaks, Arohi feels like a movie heroine herself. You know, like Simran from the Bollywood classic DDLJ. But to really complete the fantasy, one little thing is missing: the perfect costume. And here it is, the romantic climax. Her husband, Prakar, he just senses the moment perfectly and reaches into his bag. He pulls out this soft, white dupatta. It's a traditional Indian scarf. He drapes it over her shoulders, smiles, and asks in Hindi, "Are you any less than Simran?" I mean, come on, it's just this perfectly timed, incredibly romantic gesture. And in that one instant, she completely transforms. The girl from Meerut becomes the heroine of her own Swiss love story. The wind catches the fabric, she does a little twirl, and for just a moment, reality feels even more magical than the movies ever could. But hey, travel is never just the highlight reel, is it? So after that romantic high in Interlaken, the dream journey runs smack into the kind of friction every single traveler eventually faces. This is where the story gets really, really real. So the plan was to go explore Bern, the capital city. They're picturing these charming cobblestone streets, amazing chocolate shop windows. The reality? A government convention has blocked off all the parking. Their bus can't even stop. And just like that, the dream gets punctured by logistics. They end up eating dinner from foil packets on the shoulder of a highway. The very next day brings another one of those classic travel dilemmas. At the ticket counter for Mount Pilatus, there's a group discount available, but, and here's the catch, it requires one person to pay for everyone up front. And suddenly, their friendly little tour group becomes a collection of strangers, and nobody wants to take the financial risk. It's just this super awkward moment where money is talking way louder than mountains. Then comes a moment of, well, personal friction. After having a snack, Arohi just casually tosses a tissue on the ground. It's an old habit. Prakar's reaction is swift and it is sharp. He picks it up and hisses in this low voice, "This is not India," before adding in Hindi that it's Swiss people who keep Switzerland clean. Ouch. His words, especially spoken in front of strangers, they land hard. It's a moment of really deep shame, but it's also a moment of profound learning. Up there on this pristine mountain, she suddenly understands the invisible work it takes to keep a place so beautiful. It's a lesson in civic pride, and she makes this silent promise to herself to be more mindful. And now, the journey moves to its grand finale, the Golden Round Trip at Mount Pilatus. And this tour, it doesn't just show off Switzerland's natural beauty, but also its incredible, mind-blowing engineering. This whole trip is like a symphony of different kinds of transport. First, they float up in a gondola. Then they take this thrilling dragon ride between the peaks. Then they go down on the world's steepest cogwheel railway. And finally, they glide across the turquoise waters of Lake Luzerne on a boat. It's the whole shebang. With just one precious hour left in the whole trip, they explore the absolutely charming city of Luzerne. They walk across the famous 14th century Kapellbrücke Bridge, and it feels like they've stepped back in time. And they're totally captivated by these portable chocolate shops that puff out clouds of chocolate-scented smoke. A sweet, totally irresistible tourist trap. Finally, on that long bus ride back to Paris, they're exhausted, but they are full of memories. Prakar says what they're both feeling, worth every euro. And her heart just silently agrees. Yeah, despite the cost, despite all the little moments of friction, the experience was absolutely priceless. And that really brings us to the final lingering thought from this whole story. Arohi thinks back on the perfect, almost unbelievable cleanliness of Switzerland, and what a stark contrast it is to back home. And it leaves us with this question. Can travel really do more than just show us the sights? Can it fundamentally change our perspective and teach us lessons that we carry home with us long after those mountain peaks have faded from view?